Good morning, everyone. Today on Perspectives, we're going to hear from 3 award-winning teachers who have been recognized for their ability to motivate, encourage, and guide their students to success in science. Now, according to some expert observers, from the beginning of time, man has needed some basic knowledge of science to understand how things worked. It was essential for early man's survival. Today, whether you know it or not, your knowledge of science, experts say, leads to logical reasoning in your daily events. Science teachers can help students explore the world of science in their everyday lives. Science education is important to our society. In fact, it's said that teaching technological literacy, critical thinking, and problem solving through science education, the experts say that it gives students the skills and knowledge that they need to succeed in school and beyond. Its benefits include creating new knowledge. It allows us to share ideas. Science can actually improve education, increase the quality of our lives, and it can also help us understand our world even better. Now, as an older adult, I will admit that I do sometimes look back on those early years of education, and I will say I wish I had experienced a science teacher who had made science interesting and fun and had helped me turn on that science curiosity switch to the highest level. Well, joining us today on Perspectives, Alabama's Elementary Science Teacher of the Year, Megan Gale of Hutchins Elementary School. Alabama's Middle School Science Teacher of the Year, Dr. Megan McCall of Barden Academy for Advanced World Studies. And the Fannie Mae Teacher of Promise, Michaela Ross of E.R. Dixon Elementary School. Well, after a quick break this morning, we'll hear from Mobile County's and Alabama's award-winning science teachers. How did they become the educators that they are today? And how did one school system be the place to find all 3? Well, Perspectives continues in just a moment. And welcome to Perspectives. Today we're talking with science teachers who are all award-winning, both in the local arena here in our schools in Mobile County and also for the state of Alabama. And we introduce them to you. We have 2 Megans and a Michaela, all M's. Is that something that happens in the science world?
We're just
a coincidence?
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we first want to say we are so proud of all 3 of you, and to have you in the school system right here in our area is just awesome. I'm sure that doesn't really happen very often, does it?
No.
Yeah, I think it's been a unique year.
Yeah, indeed. Well, let's start talking about this whole thing with science, because some adults have good memories about having science when they were young, and then some have, well, it wasn't the best subject. But then, you know, as you're an older person, you start seeing the relevance of some of the things that you learned in science. And then you start looking back to say, well, maybe that person who taught me didn't like science. But I can tell from what has happened for the 3 of you, and meeting you just briefly a few minutes earlier, I can hear that excitement in there as we talk about transferring your excitement to the children that you're teaching, and that's where it really comes in to make a difference. So let's start here. Give us a little idea of how this happened for you. We'll start down with Dr. Megan.
Sure,
okay.
right.
And tell us a little bit about, because you've been doing it for a few years longer.
I have.
And we were talking, you are 4th or 5th generation.
I am 4th generation Alabama educator, yes.
That is awesome.
Exactly.
So was this something that you just came about naturally because of that, or was in your DNA? Or
It
how did
must
happen?
have been, but I always swore I would not be a teacher because
Oh my goodness.
I saw how hard the job is. My mother was a Spanish teacher in Birmingham. My grandmother was an English teacher. My grandfather was a principal and a history teacher. And then my great-grandmother was also a school teacher in North Alabama. So I went and actually got my undergraduate degree from the School of Engineering at Auburn, and went into the business world as an environmental consultant with engineering firms. And so it wasn't until I saw my mom retire and I said, you know, she made such a difference, and that's what I wanted to do. And the genes did pull me in, and I have loved it. 21 years later, I've just been enjoying every minute of it.
That is awesome. So you saw something about what she had
Yes.
done that made a difference, and you wanted to,
Correct.
I guess, make that same type of
Absolutely.
contribution.
The impact on the students' lives and the other teachers that she worked with, and over the span of her career, how awesome it was. And that just appealed to me, and that's why I went back and got my certificate for science education, secondary science education, and then furthered with my doctoral degree in 2017 from the University of South Alabama.
And you know, you're an example of one of the things that I know they've been recruiting a lot. We're asking people who are in professions, come back and teach, come back and share what you've learned in the commercial and private business world to the kids, to help them see the connection, and that's so critical. Now, who's been teaching the longest here, Michaela or Megan?
Me.
Okay, well, we're going to come to Megan next then. So, what led you into the teaching profession?
Well, I really tried hard to deny the calling, because I feel like
my
teaching is a
goodness.
calling, and buddy, I tried hard to go away. I also went to Auburn, and I went for architecture. I was really set that I was going to do that, and then after about 3 months in the architecture program, I realized I had made a very grave mistake, and I needed to get back to the thing that made my heart happy. So I called my mom and told her it was time to switch to teaching, and she was supportive on the phone, and only afterwards I realized that she told my dad, "What are you thinking?" So that's how I ended up being a teacher. I denied it, and then couldn't deny it for too long.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, you also have lineage in education too, right?
Yes, my sister is also a teacher, but she was destined to be a teacher. She always was teaching kids, and I just had to pretend to be her principal. And then my aunt is also a teacher, and I have a cousin that's a teacher too.
Okay, so you had some idea of what you were getting into.
Yes.
And so once you flipped, did you feel that you had made the right decision?
I knew it immediately. When you're in the thing that you know that you're supposed to do, you know it's an immediate thing. You just know exactly that you're in the right place. So.
And so how many years have you been teaching now?
This is year 10.
Year 10, excellent. I was going to say, probably you look like it could be your first year.
Thank you.
You look so young.
It's those good genes you were talking about.
Now, Michaela, how long have you been teaching now?
I've been teaching for 2.5 years.
Okay, so 3 years ago, what were you thinking?
Well, I had a switch, I think, similar to everybody.
Okay.
I got a master's degree in interaction design, so I worked for a little bit after graduation as a copywriter and a user experience designer, so designing websites and apps. And my mom is a teacher. She taught first grade when I was growing up, and I spent so much time in her classroom helping out with her first graders. And I
over
teach
the
first
years,
grade
huh?
now. Yeah, when I was in middle school and high school.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I really always had it in my head that I was very interested in it, but I tried something else first, and I just felt like I wasn't making the impact that I could, and I really wanted to work with kids. But my experience as a user experience designer has helped a lot with knowing a bit about programming and design. I've used that, and I think that helped me become a good science teacher. Since I teach all the subjects in first grade, my background, I think, helped me get really interested in science, which has been a little bit of a surprise.
Of how you were thinking in your technical world.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, tell us briefly, what is Fannie Mae Teacher of Promise?
I think all the teachers K through 12 with under 3 years experience in Alabama were eligible. So they tried to pick someone, I guess, who was doing something unique and seemed particularly interested in science.
Well, this is really exciting as a parent of former students of Mobile County Public Schools. This is very exciting to me to have 3 of you in the same school system and to have that type of success already, and you at the beginning of the best of the young teachers who are coming in, and then of course 10-year mark, and Dr. Megan a 20-year mark, and so what you're all bringing to the table is just so exciting. So what is it about teaching students that motivates you? What is it about teaching them?
When they say that this was the best day ever, that's the thing that keeps me going. When they come to my science lab and they say today was the best day we've ever had,
oh my goodness,
that's what makes me keep going every day.
I can understand that.
We both work with young children. I teach first grade, and they're just so loving. I feel like they're my 25 best friends, and they're so excited to see me, and I'm so excited to see them. And in science class, it gets them so excited to be hands-on and experiencing things and seeing experiments, and I just love their enthusiasm and their genuine caring hearts. They're so sweet.
Yeah.
And you're at Barton, so
Yes.
you've got that cream of the
Absolutely.
crop, I guess we
The
could say.
Energy. So I teach the middle school. I teach 7th
Yeah.
grade life science and 9th grade chemistry. And the energy and enthusiasm is so wonderful. And I think over my career, I love the light bulb moment. And really,
Yes.
that just drives me as an educator, is when you see that light bulb turn on and they get it. I think that is the most wonderful thing for me.
My goodness. Well, you know, when you look at the need for teachers now and the quality of the teacher, someone who wants to be there, that's something that all the school systems are looking for as they recruit and get a chance to talk to the potential employees. What do you recommend? I don't know if we have time for this one. We'll see if we can take a break. Cammie, where are we time-wise? Okay, we've got about a minute. But think about this when we come back. We'll answer the question. But what is it that we have to do to make this happen for our kids today? And we're going to really talk about what you're expecting for the parents to do, because it's, you know, it's a partnership. You are hoping that they are doing some things, and of course then you add what you have to add to the plate and the excitement, and then seeing what the need is today, because the need is great for science, the STEM programs, we're hearing about that, but for people to know science and to be proficient in it. So when we come back, we'll take a break and we'll talk more about that and meet our award-winning teachers as they tell us more about how they're making it happen in the classroom. We'll be right back. And we're back with our award-winning science teachers, Dr. Megan McCall from Barton Academy. It's Academy for Advanced World Studies, called now. And we have next to her in the middle, Michaela Ross with E.R. Dixon Elementary School. She's our Fannie Mae Teacher of Promise. Dr. McCall is the Middle School Science Teacher of the Year. And here, immediately next to me, our other Megan, Hutchins Elementary School teacher. She's the Alabama Elementary School Science Teacher of the Year. We thank you all for being here today and sharing this information. So, what is it that you think that you bring to the table to excite the kids? What is it that's happening here in your interaction with the kids? We'll start with you.
Passion, because now this year I'm doing a new job where I only teach science, hands-on science every day to 600 kids at my school, and so I get to do the thing that I have the most passion about, and I share the love of science that I have with my kids, and I get to nerd out all day long and do the fun stuff. We do hands-on science, and so that's the thing.
Is this science different, the way you're teaching it today, different from what way you learned back when you were in elementary school?
Absolutely. I can only remember one teacher that I had that did hands-on science with me, and that's not to say that the rest of mine were not great. It's just that my memory is, my 4th grade teacher, Miss Creel, did hands-on science with us, and we built houses and made circuits, and I mean, that kind of thing sticks with you, and you carry that with you for forever when you're going into the same kind of field.
That's an important ingredient there. Michaela, what do you see that's in you or that's making this happen with your kids?
I try to bring together my love for science. My family is a big STEM family. I have 2 brother doctors, and then my husband's an engineer, and my dad's a psychiatrist. So I think I grew up around science, but I also really love writing and was an English major. So I do a lot of hands-on science, like Megan was saying. We're doing 24 hands-on experiments through the AMSTI program. So AMSTI sends me a big kit of materials and special curriculum, so I do a lot of hands-on learning. We've been learning about sound and doing a lot of things with tuning forks and making instruments and things like that. And we recently completed a project that bridged my love for writing and science. So we researched animals, and we all picked an animal from the Montgomery Zoo. And we went to the Montgomery Zoo this week, and they all saw their animal they researched. But they also wrote a book. We wrote a book that got published through a company called Student Treasures. So they're going to give us our published book, and each child has their animal that they researched. But we also took in our science standards too. So we're talking about the animal, how it communicates, how it uses sound, and sounds caused by vibrations. So it was really cool to see them write about something they're interested in and then see the animal in person. So I try to bridge science and reading and writing.
Now, were you taught like that when you were in school, in elementary school?
You know, I'm not really sure. I had some really excellent teachers. I remember my first grade teacher really well and how comfortable she made me in her classroom. But I think my mom did a lot of really unique things with me since she's a teacher. And I remember going on a lot of trips with her to, you know, the zoo.
And she taught
museums.
fourth grade, right?
She teaches fourth grade now, but she taught first grade when I was growing up.
First when you were growing up, okay.
So I think she really instilled me with a love for science.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Megan,
Yes.
what is it that's kept you excited for this period of time and still enthusiastic about what you do?
I think it's mostly bringing in real world science and showing the students that science is around us all day, every day, and bringing those things from our community to the classroom and showing them that science is beyond the walls of our classroom. So we make connections through our project-based learning at Barton Academy. We have different projects that each grade level does. Right now we're looking at the processes that go in a community of renovation and construction projects and permitting and city planning.
Wow.
So that's been a lot of fun to talk about ecosystems and how they're involved in that process. And so we did a mock city planning yesterday about an oak tree that had to be decided upon what was going to happen to the oak tree and how different people have different ideas about how those areas should be developed. And so, you know, those types of things, as well as looking at different careers that are options that they may not have thought about, I think is really important to me since I came in from the business world, and sharing those things with them, and also the travel aspect and showing them what scientists actually do. So we try to broaden them and let the students experience so many of those things outside the classroom, and taking them to Dauphin Island and taking them to the Gulf Quest Museum and showing them all different types of things. Next week we're actually going to the Port of Mobile to see the container ships. They built little models of container ships last semester, and so now they're going to get to actually see those in action downtown. So it's a phenomenal environment that they have to be able to learn these things.
This is so exciting. You've got me excited. I wish I could go back to school again, you know. Well, let's talk about what do we need parents to be doing to make your job easier, but most importantly to help provide that other side of motivating their child, because all three of you talked about careers that the parents may not even know about or hadn't thought about that come through the world of science. So what do we need our parents to do?
For me, my kids are pre-K through second grade. I want them to ask questions to their kids when they come home from school. What did you do today? So that they can say, oh, we did this and it was so fun and I think I want to be a biologist.
Right.
You know, get them talking at home. Have them think about what they might want to do one day because of what they've learned at school. So for me, that's the question asking is the most important thing, and take them on real world experience trips, like take them to the zoo or take them to the beach. Let them experience the things that we're talking about at school. So
I've got a lot of museums here in the area, and my wife was great at questioning when the kids got out of school. Use that journalism experience on them. So what would you like parents to be doing more of?
I think engaging with the Mobile community and trying to get their kids to have experiences outside of the school setting. I taught at the Boys and Girls Club before I started as a teacher, and I was the STEM teacher, and we did so many experiments. So I feel like there's a lot of ways that parents can get their kids involved in science if they just kind of look into what's available in the Mobile community. There's some great things going on and places they can visit, like all these different field trips that we've talked about.
The Explorium.
Yes, the Explorium is a great one.
Yeah.
And I think too the fact that they can share with us when they have ideas, because I love to incorporate those. I know that I had a parent reach out and told me that she heard this great speaker at the Botanical Gardens, and then I was able to contact that speaker and bring them in. Oh, yes. And so it was actually on honeybees, and it was fabulous to be able to bring that guest speaker who's an expert from our community in to our classroom and share firsthand with our students. So they get to learn not only about a different career, but another organism, and it fits right in with our life science program.
You know, today I'm sure that you all have seen that, but you have some advantages that maybe other teachers don't have, because you can do so many hands-on things, but you've got to find a way to engage the students and keep them excited and motivated to participate, because they live in such a fast world. The technology is just constantly moving and they're doing things, so you got to have that.
You got to be better than a computer.
Yes.
Being a lifelong learner, I think, which is what we all are for sure, I think that keeps a teacher motivated to be able to continue learning. I learn things from my students all the time, but keeping up with things and going to, like, we went to the conference from the Alabama Science Teachers Conference, and that was where we received our awards, and learning new things at that conference and then sharing those things with the students, because like I said, it happens, science happens outside the classroom and around the world, so it's so much fun to share that with the students.
Never enough time. This has been great, and I hope those watching today have gotten excited as I have been here this last half an hour. And just want to make a note for you, Megan Gale, she's also been selected as a Sweet 16 finalist for Alabama's statewide Teacher of the Year Award. So we wish you a lot of success in that coming up.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wish I could tell you right now in an envelope, but
It's not, because I might cry.
all right. So we thank you, Megan Gale, Michaela Ross, and Dr. Megan McCall. We thank you all and wish you a lot more success throughout the years.
Thanks for having us.
And we thank you for joining us. For more information on the programs at Mobile County Public Schools, there are the website, the Twitter, and the other accounts available to contact them to get more information how to get your students involved in some incredible science here locally. And of course, join us next week on Perspective, same time, 9 a.m. And if you miss us, you can always check us out on the webpage or the YouTube channel. I'm Eric Reynolds. Have a great week ahead.